May I greet you all with the supreme love and the radiant light of the Great Spirit. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you and for taking the time to listen. I know that some of you are familiar with the philosophy that I seek to impart, and also with myself as a spiritual entity. So I will forego on this occasion an explanation of why I'm here and the source of the information that I seek to share with you. You can rest assured that my motives are always of the highest and purest, for it is our purpose, and always has been, to share the rich bounty of the Spirit with all of humanity. Because we see within each of you a facet of ourselves and of the Creator. At this time upon your world, it is sharply brought into focus through the events that are unfolding, the apparent distinction between certain individuals and cultures and races and countries and their beliefs and aspirations. And this appears in the form of division. Where one side appears to be the aggressor towards another. And certain individuals are the perpetrators of acts of war and violence and destruction that brings suffering to so many. We are aware of what is transpiring on your world. We always have been. But we do not stand by as idle observers. We do not stand by simply in a passive capacity, watching events unfold. Neither are we emotionless automatons, devoid of compassion or understanding of the human condition. We feel your pain. We know of your fear. We are aware of your shortcomings as well as your strengths. And we know that there are some amongst you whose aim and purpose, directive, is the subjugation of the race to the advantage of the privileged few. And I use that term privileged loosely, because what appears as a privilege to some is anything but. In fact, it is a millstone around their neck in spiritual terms. And of course, when individuals and nations and ways of life are threatened, the cry goes up, God, help us, save us, prevent this tyranny, intervene, do something. We hear these pleas. We are aware of these prayers. There is nothing wrong with prayer. I have always advocated prayer as being a great source of comfort, of strength, and of course, a mechanism to allow change to happen, whether that is in the form of upliftment, insight, guidance, or healing. If conditions are suitable and the right criteria is present, then prayer can be a very powerful tool to bring about positive change, especially prayer that comes from the heart and not from the book. But you have to understand that current events, which in many ways run parallel to historical events of the past, and I'm referring particularly to global conflicts, and indeed any such conflict or war between individuals and nations, are the responsibility of you all. What would you have the Great Spirit do when you say, please help, please intervene, please stop these wars, these conflicts from happening? What would you have the Great Spirit do? Wave a magic wand, perhaps, or part the oceans, create some cataclysm, strike down all of the perpetrators of suffering? Would it not be better if humanity individually and collectively took responsibility for itself? The human condition is a wonderful one, but has within its makeup a propensity for violence, for greed, for control. And these are born out of ignorance. As I have said many times, conflicts will only cease when human consciousness evolves to the point where it recognizes the oneness of all life, where it sees not division, not differences in color or creed or belief or gender or race, when it seeks not to control and divide and manipulate for what it sees or believes to be the acquisition of power and wealth and land. These things pass. They are not man's to acquire or to own. The land is there to serve him. The world is there as the canvas upon which he paints his life story. Man is a visitor to your world. He comes and goes. And until he learns to recognize the sanctity of all life, the oneness of all life, and that what he does to others, he does to himself, individually and collectively, then nothing will change. The real intervention that should be sought is the intervention of understanding, the moving from ignorance to knowledge, and from knowledge to truth, and from truth to wisdom. Because wisdom will see quite clearly that any acts of aggression, any aspiration towards self-interest, self-power, and the acquisition of material gain are based upon fallacies of the mind. Fear is one of the great weapons that is used by the establishment and the purveyors of violence and control and aggression. Fear is instilled in the minds of so many. It is a contagion. It is a virus. Not a virus in the sense of a biological virus, but a virus of the mind. And although it has a biological component to it, in that it brings physical distress and illness over time, its origin is within the mind. And you can clearly see when fear is being used as a weapon against you. Would it not be better to see fear for what it is, that great imposter that you have knowingly or unwittingly invited into your house? Send it packing. Show it the door. Do not let it find a lodgment in your heart or in your mind, because it will destroy. It will create havoc and chaos in your own thinking, and will spread like a cancer to all who come into your orbit. Instead, turn your thoughts inward to the center of your being, where there is stillness, calmness, peace. And light. See here your true nature, which is a peaceful one, which is the Creator itself. the observer, the watcher of all things. Focus your attention and allow your mind to dwell within this inner temple. See events clearly for what they are. The activities of the mind and of the ignorant lack of understanding that is so prevalent upon your world. There is a change taking place. There are many who are, to use a term with which you are familiar, waking up to their true nature. But there is much yet to unfold. There's much work to be done. You cannot change the world, but you can change yourself. And you can provide an example to others through your love, through your compassion, through your tolerance and understanding, and through your resolve not to follow the dictates of the lower order, but to instead exhibit the higher qualities of the Spirit in all that you think and say and do. In this way, the human mind will be transformed. And such events as those which are happening now in your world will not be able to occur. You must understand this principle that what man thinks, man brings into being. The world that you are experiencing is not separate from yourself. It is within the collective human consciousness. Thoughts are real. The energies of the mind are very powerful. But when the mind is transgressed, when you go beyond it, and when you allow the higher principles of your true nature to encompass all that you are, then this too is reflected in the reality that you experience. This is your directive. This is your purpose. This is your goal, to know self, to be that which you are, to see life not through the lens of the material mind and all that is associated with it, but through the spiritual mind, through the higher self. And in this way, you will find the things that elude you as an individual, but most importantly as a race, will come to you. The world can be transformed. Wars, tyranny, oppression, darkness can be things of the past. But they can only come into being when the human heart, the human mind is transformed. And the higher will of the divine can exert its influence in the world of matter. So contemplate these thoughts and these words. Know that you are not alone. We are with you. We have always been with you because we are brothers. Although we are different, we are the same. Although we are separate, apparently so, we are one. We work together in love and in light. Stay strong. Follow your intuition. Listen to your higher self and to your heart for all the answers and all that I have spoken of in this short talk resides also within yourself. Thank you for listening. God bless you.